Can you tell us a little bit about what one of these forecasters is?
Sure. So at a very high level, forecasting is a pretty simple problem. What it basically is about, we do some analysis to calculate demand, or to forecast demand of products in the absence of any kind of promotional activity or any other kinds of events, special events that might cause spikes or troughs in demand. And that generates something called a baseline forecast. So we have some algorithms that are responsible for generating baseline forecasts by doing an historical analysis of sales data. We then have a separate set of algorithms that calculate what we call incremental sales. This is additional uplift, or in some, I guess it could also be negative uplift from the baseline when certain special events are in play, like a promotion. A Mother's Day promotion is going to cause an uptick in the sale of flowers and gift cards, right? Christmas is going to, or any other kind of holiday is going to have an uptick in sales. So we tend to think of a forecaster, the thing that actually calculates forecasts, as being decomposed into a baseline forecaster and an incremental forecaster, and each of those things can be parameterized, and they're put together to form the actual forecaster that you want to use to generate, to calculate demand for products at given stores. So that's a forecaster kind of at the abstract, and gives you some idea of what some of the features in it are and how they might compose.
And can you give us a picture of what this forecaster is like in terms of its assembly spec?
So if you look at this slide, you'll see a very simple example, probably the simplest example. I call it the hello world of forecasters. And you'll see it just has 4 lines, right? So those 4 lines explain how to generate 4 different components that are used with one another. So we've got, in this case, we've got a really simple one called B forecast for baseline forecast, one called mults for multipliers. These are the multipliers that are used to calculate the incremental uplift when there are different promotions and such in place. We use these 2 components, B forecast and mults, to generate an incremental forecaster that calculates the actual incremental forecast. And then we put the incremental forecaster and the baseline forecaster together into a component called batch, which is a batch forecaster. And so what that does, and we can go into in a moment exactly how it does it, but as you can see, we start with some kind of elementary components, the baseline forecaster and the multipliers, and then we compose those with some reusable features, Incr and for incremental and FCST for forecaster. We compose those together to make an actual component called batch, and batch is the component that's kind of the output of this thing that you would then install in your database to calculate your forecasts.
So is this the description of one variant?
This is the description of one variant. That's correct.